Hello, America. This is AlThomasC, and today our President Obama came out and he made some what now are turning out to be controversial statements about the after effect of the Trayvon Martin case and the Zimmerman acquittal. And I want to talk to you a little bit, or I want to pose a question to you. How do you view what he said? Because I heard one thing, but a whole bunch of other people out there heard something completely differently. And I just want to put a few words out there and do a little word association, a little word game. And let's talk about really what was said versus how the reaction came out. First of all, the president did something very important. First thing he did was honor the grieving. He honored the parents of Trayvon Martin. He honored them and said, we're with you, our thoughts are with you, our prayers are with you, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who laid down and have to deal with the fact that their son is dead, and whether you believe whether or not he caused his own death or not, they have to deal with that, okay? So he did the appropriate thing of doing that, so I'm going to throw that out there. But he talked about a couple of things. First of all, he talked about soul searching, okay? These are quotes. He said we need to do some soul searching. Sounds scary. Scary stuff, I know. He also talked about we can do better as a nation. We can do better about a number of things, of course. I'm sure you all will agree with that, but these are the things the president said. These are not my words. He said, he asked the question, where do we take this? Where do we take all of this discussion, all of the issues, all of the knowledge of what happened down in Florida, the pain that we have to deal with of knowing that this sort of thing is happening to our country, whether you're African American, whether you're white American, whether you're a Hispanic American, whatever. Where do we take this? How do we develop it? I know, scary stuff, but stay with me. He talked about reducing existing mistrust. Okay? We all know, if you haven't been living under a rock for the last 100 years, we know that there's some mistrust within different communities. Certain people act certain ways. He talked about him being the victim of, feeling what it's like to go into an elevator and, ladies clutching their purse, or they look at you funny, or you can't walk down the street, or, being followed around stores. I know these are foreign concepts to some people, but they're very real in the lives of African American people like me. Also, dealing with a history that won't go away. Although, I would argue there's a whole lot of us out here that would love to ignore that history, but that's not going down. Not as long as Obama's in office. He talked about bolstering African American boys. He talked about investing in African American boys and thereby investing in the community of African Americans. And these are the things Obama was saying. This is a quote, so take it for what you will. But let's look at the opposite extreme. Let's look at what some of the people are saying on Twitter. Mostly conservative commenters, commentary, GOP strategists, and different people that just have something to say. But these are mostly the people who have a position and are educated. I'm not talking about the fools out there that just spout a bunch of, well, we won't talk about what they're spouting. But they've called him a race baiter. First of all, what the heck is a race baiter? I have to put race out there to bait you to what? To what? Be angry about the history of oppression against African Americans? Be angry about the effects of slavery that went on for hundreds of years and generations? I have to bait you for that? No, all I have to do is go outside and take a look and see what's happening in the community. I don't have to be baited. Give me a break, okay? You call him a race baiter? You can bait this, okay? What about? Hey, let's take a little step back. What about Paula Deen? Where was the righteous indignation about Paula Deen? Now, if you want to have a race baiter, how about Paula Deen? Miss, I want to have a southern wedding where all the black people are in white suits and bow ties, and they sit down and say yes and no. Get the cuss out of here. Ain't nobody got time for that. I got these fools out here on Twitter talking about, I can't believe the pessimism of the president regarding politics and its ability to have an effect on talks about racism. Now, these are the same fools who want to eliminate government, practically defund public schools. They don't want there to be a bus to take your kids from one section of town to the other section of town so he can learn how to read, write, and do math. Okay? But now that the president is real, he keeps it real. And it's like, look, I'm not going in here to talk with these fools about what race is and what race isn't, because all they're going to do is turn it around, flip it, and then make it out to be something that it's not, which is a political football, and kick it around and act like, you know what they're going to act like. Okay, these are the same fools where their approval ratings are down like below like 18%. Okay, in Congress, but yet now it's pessimistic that we should not want to go, or the president saying he does not want to go to talk to them about race when they have proven themselves to be incapable to do anything except maybe name a post office after someone. I mean, that's about all I'm seeing out of Congress these days. Also, Andrea Mitchell gets on and says that the president basically implied that the president needed to give warning, quote, about being an African American male. Warning? Really, Andrea Mitchell? You need to be warned? Why? Because you feel in danger? Perhaps you're afraid, perhaps you're fearful that if you hear the real story, the contextual story that President Obama was talking about, where he's like, let's put some context to what's going on. Because what's being ignored, Andrea, that you're afraid to talk about, is that people want to act like the response to Trayvon Martin, or the indignation to the fact that he died, was killed, and the only thing that was believed was the testimony of his killer, okay? But that people want to turn around and call him a thug. People want to call him all sorts of things that they have no proof to actually say that he did these things, okay? None but the person who had a vested interest in saying, you know what, he was banging my head, he was bashing my head on the concrete. 2 scratches on the back of his head. Get him a little boo-boo, a little Band-Aid on the across the back of his head. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, what do you need warning about, Paula Mitchell? You need warning from the truth? Yeah, well, sunlight is one of the best antibiotics. How about that? And you got Hannity out here talking about that the president is tearing this country apart because he said things like investing and bolstering Americans and dealing with a history that won't go away, and peace and security, and reducing the existing mistrust. Yeah, Hannity, that's tearing America apart. It's tearing apart the America that you want to be a part of, the America that mistrusts people like me because you're afraid, because we speak up for ourselves. Because I won't allow you to victimize and vilify and demonize my young sons who are studying, who are looking to be productive members of society. Yeah, Hannity, we are tearing America apart. We're tearing your America apart. The America that's full of crap, okay? The America that ignores the past and ignores the context that the president was talking about. Okay? We got these fools out here talking about President Obama is fanning the flames, stoking the flames of racial tension. We don't need to stoke the flames of racial tension. Racial tension is what it is because there was hundreds of years of slavery. Because there was decades of Jim Crow law. Because we're living in a society where less than 12% of the population makes up half of the doggone penal system. Okay? So don't give me this foolishness about he's stoking the flames of racial tension, because racial tension is what it is because you have an oppressor and an oppressed. And the oppressor decided to use his upper hand to keep himself rich and in a position of privilege on the backs and the blood of the oppressed. And not only just that, not only just the oppression, but the abuse. Anyway, I'm digressing. But the bottom line is, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the difference, the dichotomy, what President Obama said versus what some of these fools are saying they actually heard. And what do you think about it? Hit me up if you have something intelligent to say. If you want to talk foolishness, you shall be blocked. Peace out. West Side for life.